Hi, my name is Dan. That's my friend Rob there on the right. See, Rob and I are about to graduate from college. And I guess it's about that time we should find good jobs, pretty wives, and a nice little place in the suburbs. And eventually maybe we will. We just have one small thing we need to do first. We're gonna go to Africa and try and see if we can live off $1 a day. Maybe I should explain that a little bit. See, me and Rob have known each other for a long time. We first met in high school. Actually, it's more like I avoided Rob in high school. I always figured he was the kid on the weekends at home barbecuing his pet rabbit. Me, on the other hand, I was completely normal. I was actually really involved in church, which was the last place I ever thought I'd meet Rob. And then one day, he showed up. The next thing I knew, me and the creepy kid were friends. We started work for the church together. But our favorite thing to do was make videos. I was the guy always behind the camera. And take a wild guess who Rob was.
I'll take this.
Eventually things started to change though.
I became a Christian when I was 18. Before that, I didn't believe anything. Soon after, I started doing ministry, started preaching as much as I could, but the entire time I had so much doubt. And finally, when I got to the point when the doubt just couldn't be ignored anymore, I started to pull away from the church. Since then, I've fallen out of the church, and I truly do not believe in God.
I, on the other hand, just got more and more involved, especially in going on missions trips. And in 2005, I got the chance to go to Africa. If you know anything about Africa, you probably know it's the poorest continent on earth, and where I went was no exception. 1/3 of the people had HIV, the people crammed their entire families to little mud huts, and if they got to eat it all, it was a blessing. When I returned home, I told Rob about my experience in Africa, and as I imagined, Africa was nowhere on his radar. His life now consisted of duck hunting, mullet hunting,
Oh boy.
making rap videos, and pretty much trying to be the most offensive and politically incorrect person he could be. But when I told Rob that I felt it was now my obligation to do something about the over 1 billion people who live on $1 a day, Rob didn't exactly share my obligation.
Almost everything that I've ever seen about Africa has been a complete guilt trip. They're problems that have been caused by stuff that I didn't have anything to do with, and I don't feel like it's my responsibility to help people halfway across the world. And I understand that people have things severely stacked against them, but at what point are other people's problems my problems?
But last year, Rob and I went hiking in Yosemite, and I told him that after I graduated from college, I was going to go on a search to find out what actually works to fight poverty. And for some reason, he decided to join me.
I just feel like in order to have a proper opinion on things, even though I don't feel like it's my problem, I need to see it for myself.
Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to travel across the US, asking the average American, do they think it's their responsibility to do something about extreme poverty? What do they feel actually works? And for a few days, Rob and I will try living on the streets begging for money so that we can eat. And as we travel across the country, we'll interview experts, asking them the same questions we ask average Americans. And then ultimately we'll travel across Africa, asking the average African, do you think it's Americans' responsibility to do something about extreme poverty? What do you think actually works? But to really understand what it's like, you have to live it. So Rob and I are going to try to live on $1 a day ourselves.
At what point are other people's problems my problems?
But half the world lives in poverty.
The only person that's going to help me is me.
There is so much you could do for these people.
I don't feel like it's my responsibility to help people halfway across the world.
How is it not everyone's responsibility to give a damn?